Hello everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the Carefree Zippered Bag, which I have my sample one here in front of you. If you head over to richtexturescrochet.com, you'll find some more photos of them. Now these bags are made to complement a market bag crochet along that I worked over the past summer, and so these bags will match those crochet market bags. This is the Carefree Market Bag zippered bag. So for our tutorial today, you're going to need a little bit of worsted weight yarn. This is a 100% cotton yarn. I'm working with the 24/7 Cotton by Lion brand, and there is about 186 yards per ball of yarn. You're going to need 3 different colors, and you're going to use a little bit less than half of the ball per zippered bag. You're also going to need a canvas pouch. Now this pouch I picked up at a local craft store. It measures approximately 7.5 inches by 10 inches, and it just features the zipper here up at the top. It's just plain on the inside. This is how we're going to work the zipper in our bag, and it makes it so easy. It also provides a nice sturdy lining. I'll show you quick right here. So if you take a look at it, I haven't sewn this one in yet, but I will show you how to do that later on in the video. But you're simply going to work the shell of your bag, and then you insert the canvas pouch, sew or glue around the top, and you are all set to go. It makes it so easy. You're also going to need a 4mm crochet hook or a G6 crochet hook, and a copy of the free written instructions, which are on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. You'll find a direct link for that and for the materials down in the description below. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. There are a few other zippered pouches, accessory pouches, here on my YouTube channel, and then of course the matching market bags are here as well under the market bag playlist. So let's grab our hooks and yarn and get started. Now our zippered bag today is started down at the bottom, and we're going to be working in rounds. So you're going to start by taking your color A. I'm using this purple color. You're going to make a slip knot and then work a foundation chain. For your foundation chain, you're going to chain 47. There's 30. And 47. Once you have that starting chain worked, you're going to begin row 1 by working a half double crochet into the second chain from your hook, and then half double crochet in each stitch all the way across until you have 1 stitch remaining. So half double crochet all the way across until there's 1 stitch remaining. Once you come all the way across and have 1 stitch remaining, into this final stitch you're going to work 3 half double crochet stitches, all into that same stitch. Now this is going to bring you so that you're now working along the opposite side of your foundation chain. Working along the opposite side of your foundation chain, you're going to half double crochet once again in each stitch all the way across until you come to your final stitch, which was your first stitch. So all the way across until you have 1 stitch remaining in your foundation chain. Once you come all the way across at the end of round 1 and you have 1 stitch remaining, you're going to work 2 final half double crochet stitches into that stitch and then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You're then going to chain 1, continue working in the same direction, and for rounds 2 and 3 you're simply going to half double crochet into that same stitch as joining and then into each stitch all the way around. Join with the slip stitch at the end when you come back to your first stitch, chain 1 and repeat. So you're going to do this again for 2 more rounds and then meet me back here. Now at the end of your round 3, you're going to want to switch to your color B. This is what your work looks like. Now there are a couple ways you can do this. You can either just fasten off, weave in your ends, and join your color B, or what I'm going to do today is I'm going to simply, in my last stitch, yarn over, insert my hook into the final stitch, yarn over, and drop a loop with that color A. Then take the color B, place it on my hook, and pull through. You can then, with your color B, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1, and you are all good to go. Now for round 4 with my color B, I am going to work in the third loop and work a half double crochet into the third loop of each stitch all the way around. Now to find your third loop, if you're looking at the front of your work here, or at the top of your work, you have your front loop and you have your back loop. If you turn it over so you can see the back of your stitch, you will see a loop that runs just along under that back loop. That is your third loop. So you're going to insert your hook under that third loop only and work a half double crochet. You're going to do that in each stitch all the way around. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Once you come all the way around, at the end of round 4, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1. Now for round 5, you're going to once again work in the third loop of each stitch all the way around, this time working single crochet stitches. So find that third loop of the same stitches joining, single crochet into that first stitch, and then single crochet into each stitch, working in the third loop all the way around. When you come to the first stitch, you can join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 5, you're joining with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. For round 6, you're going to begin by chaining 4. This will count as a double crochet stitch and a chain 1. You're then going to double crochet into the same stitch as joining. Skip the next 2 stitches and into your next stitch work a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet into the same stitch. You're going to repeat that all the way around. Skip the next 2 stitches, into your next stitch work a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet all the way around until you come back to your first stitch. You'll finish off by skipping the next 2 stitches and joining with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. When you come all the way around at the end of round 6, you're going to join in the top of your first stitch, which is the third chain of that starting chain 4. You're then going to chain 1. Now for round 7, you're going to work a half double crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 stitch all the way around. So into the top of the same stitches joining, half double crochet, and then half double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Half double crochet into each of the next 2 double crochet stitches, and then into the next chain 1 space. You're going to repeat this all the way around. When you come back to your first stitch, you're going to switch to your color C and then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and chain 1. At the end of round 7, you've joined your color C. You're going to chain 1, and for round 8, working in that third loop only, you're going to work a half double crochet into the same stitches joining, and then half double crochet in the third loop of each stitch all the way around. Now I neglected to mention earlier, but at the end of each color change, I am fastening off. You could carry it up on the inside of your bag if you wanted to. It's really up to you, but I have been fastening off and then just tucking in those ends after each one. So work your half double crochets in the third loop of each stitch all the way around. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Once you come all the way around at the end of round 8, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and chain 1. You're now going to work a series of repeats in the pattern. I'm not going to work them all here, but I encourage you to head to richtexturescrochet.com so you can follow along with the pattern there if you get lost on the repeats. So what we're going to do for rounds 9 through to 12 with your color C, you're going to repeat rounds 5 to 8 once more. So your round 5 began with a single crochet in the third loop of each stitch all the way around up until the last round that we just worked. At the end, so when you reach your repeat of round 7, you're going to be switching back to your color A. With color A, you're going to repeat rounds 5 to 8. That's for rounds 13 to 16. And then switch to your color B. Then for rounds 17 through to 20, you're going to work with your color B, repeat rounds 5 to 8, switching to your color C. With color C for rounds 21 to 24, you're going to repeat your rounds 5 to 8 and switch to your color A when the time comes. So go ahead, work up to the end of round 24, and then meet me back here and we'll finish off the top of our bag. At the end of your round 24, this is what your work should look like down from the bottom up through to the top, and you'll have switched back to your color A. We're just going to work a couple of final rounds in our color A for round 25. You're going to work in the third loop of each stitch all the way around, working a half double crochet into that same stitches joining, and then half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. When you come back to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of your round 25, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and chain 1. We have just one more round to work. For round 26, you're going to half double crochet into the same stitches joining, and then half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. When you come back to that first stitch, you can join with the slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, fasten off, and weave in all of your ends. Now once you have finished through to your round 26, you've fastened off, you've woven in your ends, you're now going to attach the pouch, and I'm just going to pull my camera back here a little bit. You're now going to attach the pouch, the canvas insert, to your shell. So you're simply going to, making sure the zipper's on the upper side, slip the pouch inside your Carefree bag. All the way down, you want to make sure that the corners are flush with one another. You're not bulky anywhere. If you find that you need to block the bag, you can go ahead and do that before you work if it makes it a little bit easier. It's up to you. Once you have inserted the canvas pouch, you can either use just a fabric glue and glue around the top to connect the top, or you can take your yarn, and I'll show you on this piece that I've already started working with, and you can actually split the fibers and unwind one. And so I took my color A, which was the final color that I used, just pull it apart so that you have one strand of a thread, and it's going to match your upper top perfectly. You're then going to thread it through a yarn needle and attach it on the inside of your bag, anywhere really, just up in one of the corners. And you just want to join the thread and make sure it's fairly secure. You don't want it pulling out afterward. Just going to work one more little knot there. This is on the inside of my bag. I've gotten my ends twisted. There we go. Just like so. You're then going to simply sew the top around the top of your bag to the inner canvas pouch. And because you're using the same color yarn as that final round, it's going to match absolutely perfectly. It's up to you as far as you can use your favorite sewing stitch. I'm just going to work a quick back slip stitch. You're going to work it all the way around. Just like so on the inside of your bag until it's fully attached, and then fasten off and weave in your ends. And that's all there is to working the Carefree Zippered Bag. I'll go ahead and work that later just to show you. So that's all there is. Thank you so much for joining me. And once again, don't forget to subscribe, take a look around, check out the other zippered bags here on my channel and their matching market bags. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.